Sam Aldegheri earns his first career MLB win as a starting pitcher in just his second career start thanks to a stellar performance against the Texas Rangers. We'll talk about his really encouraging start, plus Logan O'Hoppe with a big-time swing in this Angels victory on tonight's edition of the Locked On Angels Postcast right now.
You are Locked On Angels Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello, Halo Nation. Hello, Halo hopefuls. Hello, Postcast people, and welcome to the latest edition of the Locked On Angels Postcast, coming at you live, as always, on Locked On Sports Los Angeles YouTube channel and after the fact, wherever you get the Locked On Angels podcast feed. If you don't know who I am, I'm Gavin Carlson. I spent the last 4 years as a credentialed journalist in the LA area, specifically covering UCLA sports with the Daily Bruin. I'm now a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. And of course, every single night we're here hanging out after Angels games. And today is a fun day to hang out after an Angels game. Not only is it a Friday night, not only is there football on the second this ends, we can go enjoy a fourth quarter of an NFL game, but we get to enjoy it with a smile on our faces thanks to a 5-1 Angels win against the Texas Rangers. Anytime you can beat an AL West rival, it feels good. Anytime you can see Sam Aldegheri in just his second career MLB start look really, really, really impressive. The guy gets his first career MLB win thanks to 6 innings pitched of just 3 hit baseball, 1 earned run. He had 3 walks, but more importantly, he had resilience. He also showed you the strikeout capabilities with 7 Ks. That ERA is 2.45 after his first two starts. And wait a second. I think it's pretty certain that we won that Carlos Estevez trade. I'm just saying. I mean, maybe it's a little too early to call, but I'm feeling pretty good about that one right about now. Also, Logan O'Hoppe hits a 3-run home run, and boy, we know how much this guy needs it. I literally was reading an article earlier today about his resilience in this slump. He was 8 of his last 83. He's been working on things. He said he finally, heading into that Dodgers series, felt like he made some tweaks that were actually going to help him, not just frustrate him. And clearly it helped in the Dodgers series, and clearly it helps tonight. He only has 1 hit. He still just goes 1 for 4, but a 3-run home run, absolutely huge, helps the Angels blow this one open. We were up 2-0. The 3-run home run makes it 5-0, and just about then it was just about over. Before we jump into this one, shout out to everybody in here, and shout out to the sponsor of today's show. It is PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code all lowercase LockedOnMLB to win $50 instantly when you play $5. Yes, I see Jeff, I see Daniel Barry, I see Fudd Alex, I see Angels Win, and others. Shout out to all of you. Appreciate you guys so much. I know. There's still not an Angels banner behind me. I know it's just a very boring white wall. I gotta say, moving into an apartment is a lot of work, okay? I've been going to the store every day, buying a ton of things. The wallet is thin, but I know we're gonna get there eventually before the season ends. We're gonna have a nice background behind me. You see I got the helmet. You see I got some bobbleheads, even though you can't really see who they are. It's Drew Brees on the Chargers and Tiger Woods. But yes, we're gonna make this background look as good as Sam Aldegheri looked tonight. Look at that segue. And if you don't remember, yesterday, I couldn't even pronounce the darn guy's name. I kept saying, I don't know if it's Aldegheri or Aldegheri. Well, I know tonight, all right? He absolutely earned it. He was spectacular. Like we were saying, just 3 hits in 6 innings. And above all else, never really felt like he was in danger in this one. Against a Rangers lineup, sure, this Rangers team has underwhelmed. But this is still an Angels lineup that is pretty good, right? You've still got, even like Marcus Semien and stuff, sure, they're guys that are hitting 236 in 2024, but in their careers, they have been good hitters, and you still expect to give them the advantage going up against a guy making a second career start. Not tonight. Aldegheri against Semien, against Langford, against Josh Young, against Adolis Garcia. He was absolutely killing it. I think the most impressive thing, 7 combined strikeouts with the 2, 3, and 4 hitters of Langford, Jung, and Adolis Garcia. 7 strikeouts. They go 2 for 11 with 7 strikeouts and no walks. Really impressive. He did walk Nathan Lowe, all 3 of his walks there Nathan Lowe with 3 walks. Yes, all 3 of Aldegheri's walks. But really impressive against the 2-3-4 hitters. Also, Marcus Semien just goes 1 for 4. That's fine. He also strikes out Duran twice in his 1 for 4 performance. Really impressive. 12 total strikeouts for the Rangers tonight. 7 of them thanks to Aldegheri. But yes, this guy, it's promising, right? It's encouraging. It's what you want to see at this point in the season. And if you don't remember, his first start was very chaotic. Back on August 30th against the Mariners, a good spot. You're at home against a weak lineup, but that instantly is taken away thanks to some boneheaded plays in the field, specifically Zach Neto, if I remember correctly, making a really bad error and costing the rookie a couple runs. Now, statistically, it didn't cost him because though he gave up 7 runs in those 5 innings, only 2 of them were earned via the home run ball. But he had 2 hit by pitches after the error by Zach Neto, so clearly he lost it mentally, and he also had a couple walks as well in that start. He was still able to show some resilience. That's why I was encouraged by him even in that kind of rough outing. He ended up going 5 innings. Tonight, he does 1 better. He goes 6 innings, and tonight he does a lot more than just go 1 better in terms of an innings pitch, just 3 hits, right? Just absolutely everything you could ask for from him. The strikeout to ball ratio wasn't even that great. Just 52 of his 90 pitches were strikes. It was actually better than his previous start. 50 of his 79 pitches. I'd say, obviously it's worse. I'd say 50 out of 79 isn't even that great. You'd want to see closer to, 65, 70%. And if I do the math correctly, I don't think that's what that is. Certainly 52 out of 90 is not good enough in my opinion. And yet, despite that, he was great, right? So really encouraging to see that. First career win. He can only get better from here. I think the things you want to see outside of the actual stats going well is, like we're saying, does he show resilience in certain situations? Does he get out of jams? He had 3 walks, right? Like we're saying, able to be resilient. Level 1, 2, 3 first inning. Absolutely love that. But the second inning is what's really impressive. He gets a strikeout to start the inning, but then walk and single right away. And it's first and third with 1 out. Sac fly opportunity, obviously, but he gets a shallow fly out to Sandro Fabian. Not the best pitch, let's be honest, a 3-2 fastball right down the middle, but you're able to work a full count, put some pressure on the hitter, not the pitcher. 3-2 in certain situations benefits the hitter, but not really in a first and third with 1 out. That's kind of okay, I've done enough to make this a really interesting pitch, and you better not ground into a double play and completely kill the inning, right? And so he gets a weak fly out, and then he gets a Carson Kelly ground out. So that's a very resilient second inning. Then the Angels actually give him some run support, and man, oh man, you cannot understate how much, the mental side of things. Talking about that Logan O'Hoppe article I was reading earlier today about, he said, people think someone's struggling and they're not trying to change it. Like, he was saying, like, the reason he was encouraged going into the Dodgers series is, I've been trying to change things throughout this whole slump, but I think the quote was, everything I do makes me want to bang my head against the wall, is what he was saying, something like that. I think people really forget or underestimate the mental side of things, and not just in terms of, are you scouting the other team? No, your adjustments, how are you emotionally reacting to them in order to physically, perform them to your best ability? Logan O'Hoppe is like, hey, you see me hitting 8 of 83 and you think I'm not adjusting? I'm a big league hitter. Of course I'm adjusting. The problem is then the adjustments get in my head. And then I'm thinking about where my elbow is instead of just thinking of how to hit the ball. And then, like he says, I want to bang my head against the wall. The mental aspect of things, we overlook it so much. I feel like the only time you talk about it is when you talk about a guy not caring. You say, like, Anthony Rendon doesn't care, right? But what about when they do care and it's not working? That's why baseball and sports in general are really hard, but arguably baseball more than any other sport. Because even if you're doing everything right, even if you're preparing before every game, even if you're making adjustments when you're struggling, you're still only supposed to hit the ball 1 out of every 4, or maybe if you're really amazing, 1 out of every 3 times, right? So it's like, mentally, it's really challenging. And where I'm going with all of this is, on the same day, we'll get to Logan O'Hoppe overcoming some of those mental struggles. How about Sam Aldegheri? I almost messed it up. The Italian Stallion. I'm quoting that, or coining that. If no one said it yet, that's my thing now. He's the Italian Stallion. But how nice is it for him Look at the difference between his first two starts. The first start, he comes out, his stud shortstop, Zach Neto, makes an error. Then he hits two guys. He ends up giving up 7 runs, even if only 2 of them are earned. You look on the scoreboard and you see 7. And you're like, oh man, this guy might not make it through the first inning in his debut. But then he gets through 5. And then today, he has a 1-2-3 first. The second's a little dicey, but he gets out of it. And then he gets run support. It's 2-0. And then from there, he's settled, right? This guy, this is the first time we got to see him pitch comfortably. And he looked spectacular. And of course, the hardest part of being a starting pitcher is that you're not always going to pitch when you are comfortable. But the great pitchers are not only the ones that can get out of jams, but when they're feeling good, they're feeling like we're going to give up 3 hits and 6 runs good, or in 6 innings good. Not, oh, we're feeling really good, we'll give up a couple runs. No, we're feeling really good, you're barely going to get your bat on the ball. And that's what it was tonight for Sam Aldegheri. Huge to get him a lead. He's up 2-0. He shows some resilience in the second. He even shows some resilience in the third, a leadoff walk and a wild pitch in that inning. Still gets out of it, right? 4th inning, basically easy. He had a walk, but other than that, he strikes out 2 of the 3 outs. The 5th, 1, 2, 3. Would have liked to see him have a scoreless 6th and keep a scoreless start. Does give up a sac fly to Dolis Garcia, but at the same time, that's him doing his job. He's up 5-0 at this point. He gives up 2 singles to start the inning. The best case scenario is, of course, a strikeout, but the next best is exactly what happens. A sac fly, it's 5-1. It could have been a 3-run shot from Adolis Garcia, and then it's 5-3 and right? But he just gives up a sac fly, settles down, gets the next 2 guys out. I thought that was the perfect time to take him out. Felt like he had done everything he needed to do, and he ended up having a great start. So great job, Sam Aldegheri, 2nd ever start, 1st career win. The Italian Stallion gets it done. When we come back, we'll talk about the offense because 5 runs doesn't seem like a crazy amount for a lot of teams, but for the Angels, we know that has been the barrier we can rarely break through, that ceiling we can rarely break through and achieve. But tonight, we get the 5 runs, and it's enough thanks to Aldegheri. We'll talk about the offense, get to Gavin's good, bad, and ugly, and your comments after our break here on the Locked On Angels Postcast. Now, today's show is brought to you by Ibotta. I-B-O-T-T-A, Ibotta. It's summertime, which means it's barbecue season. I think so. I absolutely think so. I literally just had a brain freeze there because I'm so hungry and I thought about barbecue season. Stock up on all your grilling favorites and earn cash back on every purchase when you use Ibotta. So you won't have to choose between burgers or hot dogs. You can get both. Ibotta is a free app that lets you earn cash back every time you shop. Earn on hundreds of items from groceries to beauty supplies, even toys, so you can make sure you're beating inflation no matter what you're purchasing. The average Ibotta user earns $256 per year. That could cover the cost of an entire shopping trip, that flight you've been eyeing, or the fancy dinner you've been craving. Other apps give you points that don't amount to much, but with Ibotta, you can earn cash back that you can withdraw to your bank account, PayPal, or gift card. Simply add offers in the app, upload your receipt, and voila, the money is yours. You can save on over 2,400 brands and shop at over 1,000 retailers, including your favorite grocery stores, Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and more. It's time you join the over 50 million users who use Ibotta to earn cash back every time they shop. Right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta by using code LOCKEDONMLB when you register. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibotta app to start earning cash back and use code LOCKEDONMLB. That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store and use code LOCKEDONMLB. That's right, Ibotta. Back here live with the Locked On Sports Los Angeles YouTube channel. This is the Locked On Angels Postcast. I'm Gavin Carlson, and the Angels are victorious thanks to the 1st career MLB win and just his 2nd career start for Samuel Aldegheri, the Italian Stallion, the Italian-born pitcher, gets it done. 6 innings, just 3 hits, 1 earned run. He struck out 7. He looked really, really good. 5 scoreless. Would have liked it to be a shutout through 6 in his 1st career win, but still very impressive performance, and it was enough, or the offense's 5 runs was enough because of Aldegheri, but 5 runs is typically really hard for this lineup to achieve. Not tonight. We were able to get there thanks in large part to Logan O'Hoppe. We already talked a lot about it. We know the struggles. 8 of 83 at one point since that Yankees series, and it's kind of funny. We're talking about the mental aspect of things. How weird is that? I know there's nothing like really to say about it other than how weird is that right when he goes to travel to New York to play the Yankees, brings all this family out, and that kickstarts the worst slump of his career. It's kind of funny. I don't know. I mean, not funny. It's a bummer, but it's interesting. It's weird. But tonight, able to get it done, a 3-run home run in the 5th. Things started in the 3rd inning, though, and that's what's nice to see, this team not waiting till the 5th or 6th or 7th inning to actually do something. Brandon Drury and Nico Cavadas go back-to-back singles. Then Taylor Ward walks, and just like that, the bases are loaded. Huge opportunity to break this one open. Zach Neto, the big 3-hit performance last night, but tonight, he grounds it to a double play. Luckily, it still scores a run, and it would have been really annoying if that's all that happened. You ground into a double play, you score 1 run, and then the inning's over on the next at-bat. But luckily, Nolan Schanuel is able to hit a ground ball up the middle. First pitch, really nice piece of hitting. Pennington comes in, and literally the first pitch he throws is a high fastball right down the middle, and Schanuel rips it right back up the middle. Exactly what you want to do, exactly what you want to see, and he is able to make it 2-0. From there, Aldegheri was cruising, and then we get to the 6th inning. Anthony Rendon reaches on an error. Mickey Moniak hits a base hit, and then Logan O'Hoppe comes up, and on an 0-2 pitch, he takes a fastball or a sinker down the middle for a strike. Then he fouls off a fastball for strike 2. On 0-2, hanging changeup from Urania, and boy, oh boy, did he get all of that one. 104.9 exit velo, 410 feet. Just like that, it's 5-0. Just like that, Logan O'Hoppe is his 19th home run of the year. That's the thing. When you were playing as good as he was playing, where he was the undisputed best player on this team for a while, you can have a stretch where you go 8 of 83, and you are still one of the better guys statistically for the season. Still just one of 3 guys in this lineup with an OPS over 700, the 3rd best OPS on the team, despite that abysmal stretch. That says everything you need to know about how good Logan O'Hoppe was for most of the year, right? Got to give him his credit. Love seeing the resilience from him. You know, I think the Angels are managing him better. He didn't play yesterday. He's taken some days off, not just for the mental, for the physical, for everything. It's exactly what you need. It's not like you're playing to win every game. At this point, we can confidently say this team is not getting 100 losses, right? We're just 4 wins away from that. If I could do the math really quickly, we're 141 in. There we go. We've got 21 games left to win 4. We can certainly do that. Now, the bigger question is, can we avoid losing 13? Because if we can avoid losing 13 of the next, I already blanked on what the math was, 21. Let's see if I can do some math. You got to win. Look at me struggling here. You got to win 7 games, right? Yes, you got to win 7 games to be good to go. Because then you would be, what, 66 and, man, I'm struggling, 96. No, technically that would still be the most losses. That's right. Their worst season ever was 65 and 95. The weird 160 games, not 162. That is what was throwing me off. So you still need to win 8 games. You need to win 8 games of your next 21. That's a little bit challenging. But if you can do that, you would be 67 and 95, tied for the most losses ever in a season. So we'll see if that can happen. But the 100 losses isn't happening, which is why you can, afford to give Logan O'Hoppe a day off, rest him, all that good stuff. And look what happens. It benefits him and it benefits the team. He's able to come through today. Gavin's good, bad, and ugly. We'll keep this one simple. I'm actually going to say not only Aldegheri and Logan O'Hoppe, but Brandon Drury, for once, a multi-hit game and hits that actually mattered. Able to score or have a hit there in that bases loaded rally in the 3rd inning. Sure, he wasn't one of the guys who scored, but his base hits, or actually he was one of the guys who scored. His base hits able to get it done. So he deserves credit. Cavadas actually goes 1 for 3 with a walk. I think anytime you get on base twice, that's good enough for a good performance. So Taylor Ward, you get on twice in your 5 at-bats, a hit and a walk. Nolan Schanuel, 1 for 4, but he had the RBI, so that's solid. One of those games where you only have 7 hits, but it actually felt like everyone was involved. Only one guy, Brandon Drury, had 2 hits. Only a couple of guys didn't have a hit in this game in the starting lineup. Joe Adell didn't. Anthony Rendon didn't, but we know that. And Zach Neto didn't. But otherwise, everybody in the starting lineup was able to have a hit. You love to see that. And the sneaky, maybe best stat of all, The Angels only struck out 4 times. When do you ever say that? In the last month, 2 months for this team, they only struck out 4 times. You absolutely love to see it. So shout out to basically the whole lineup for, even though they only had 7 hits, see what happens when you don't strike out. It's not demoralizing, right? See what happens when you don't fail a bunch of times with runners in scoring position. They only had 3 times, but they're able to come through 2 of the 3 times with runners in scoring position. And so there you go. It's more demoralizing to have all these opportunities and never come through than to only have a couple and come through those couple times. Maybe that's an obvious statement, but clearly it's what happened today. Hunter Strickland looked really good, struck out 2 of his 3 batters. Burke looked good as well. He got a strikeout, gave up a hit, but had a strikeout, scoreless inning for him. And then Quijada had a walk, but strikes out 2 in his 9th inning appearance. So really well, an overall, exactly like Anthony Jimenez is saying, overall, just a good team win. Everybody got the job done at the end of the day. No one really had an awful game, and a couple guys were extra good, those guys being Logan O'Hoppe and Sam Aldegheri. When we come back, we'll get to your comments and wrap this one up here on this Friday night edition of the Locked On Angels Postcast. I'm Gavin Carlson, and I'll be right back. Now, finally, today's show is brought to you by PrizePicks. If you don't know, PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports because unlike other apps on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. In the month of September, 1 Caleb Williams passing yard gets you 1 win on PrizePicks every week in September. That's right. Only 1 yard gets you an automatic win every football weekend in September. 4 weeks of free W's. Don't miss this deal on PrizePicks because it's gone when September ends. Not just Caleb Williams, all sorts of football stuff up there. Of course, the football season is back, both college and professionally. Absolutely love to see it. PrizePicks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy. I love that. So your lineup stays in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, PrizePicks, your PrizePicks picks are still live. They put their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. And not only that, I think an underrated feature is that you can get a lineup in literally seconds. There's been times where earlier in the year, I was doing a PrizePicks slip before every Angels game. I stopped doing that just because it was annoying me because the Angels were annoying me. But there'd be games where the game starts in a minute. I'd open up the app, open up Baseball Savant, quickly look at 2 stats, boom, boom, lineup is placed. It's quick there. It's quick when you withdraw your money so you don't feel like you're getting scammed or anything because with PrizePicks, you're certainly not. So download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB and get $50 instantly when you play $5. Look at that, another great promo. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. And speaking of games, I wonder who's running that Packers-Eagles game right now. Back here live one more time on the Locked On Sports Los Angeles YouTube channel. This is the Locked On Angels Postcast. I am Gavin Carlson. So glad to see a lot of the familiar faces in here. And it's a happy day because the Angels win 5-1 in Texas. The road to avoiding 100 losses is looking likely. The road to avoiding the worst loss record of the Angels franchise history, that's going to be a tighter one. We'll see if they can win those 8, 9-ish games in order to avoid that. Let's get into your comments before we wrap this one up because honestly, kind of a simple game. Even though it's a win, certainly it's an encouraging win because you see Sam Aldegheri, who I maybe would go into greater detail about what I think he can be next year, but I feel like we've already discussed this rotation every single night going, oh, wait, maybe Aldegheri can make it. Real quick, I'll say, Tyler Anderson's going to be there. Jose Soriano's going to be there. Caden Dana's going to be there. Reed Detmers is probably going to be there, and it's looking like Sam Aldegheri is probably going to be there. Now, Jack Kohanowitz might have something to say about that. Guys like Chase Silseth. Davis Daniel, I think, is probably not having an opportunity at this point just because Jack Kohanowitz has outpitched him since he's come up. And Chase Silseth, I'm sorry, you probably lost your spot for now because Sam Aldegheri looks promising. Clearly, I think we've won that Carlos Estevez bet. I don't follow too closely how Carlos Estevez is doing, but he could be doing amazing right now, and it wouldn't matter in terms of what we need, we won that trade. Absolutely. So we won that Carlos Estevez trade. Aldegheri looks good. He looks like he probably will be in this rotation next year if there aren't any big free agent signings. Jeff says, wow, we actually won. Daniel Barry says, what up? But Alex says, what up? Angels win says, what a victory. Pitching has been great lately. Optimism about the pitching for the future. Here's my thing. I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep beating this drum. Here's my thing. The pitching has been pretty good the past couple of months, not just lately. Angels win. I know what you mean, especially lately, but I've been beating this drum saying this pitching staff has been actually pretty good for most of the year, especially the last couple of months when this lineup has turned their brains off every night. So yes, encouraged for the future. Aldegheri looks like he belongs in the rotation. Caden Danis certainly belongs in the rotation. I think Jack Kohanowitz could even fight for the rotation. Jose Soriano, I have so much promise for. Tyler Anderson, he still was an all-star this year. Reed Detmers even looks like he might be back to being an MLB level starting pitcher, right? Ben Joyce holding it down in the bullpen. Some other guys that we got acquired in the Luis Garcia and Carlos Estevez trades. The bullpen, I think, is probably the one thing I would like to see us just go maybe acquire one or two guys. But honestly, we've been good at developing the bullpen recently. So yes, I'm extremely encouraged by the pitching and what it means for the future. Anaheim Angel says, we aren't getting swept. Hello, fellow postcasters. Fud Alex saying maybe pressure was getting to Logan O'Hoppe. Absolutely could be. It's hard when you're not even having full seasons under your belt and then you're already expected to be the best player on your team. Fud Alex says, I don't think Artie will spend for the next season and hope for young players to do hopefully good. What do you guys think? Anthony Jimenez says, if done right, a good combination of veteran leadership and the young core of youth, we may have something to look forward to in the near future. I think you're right, but if Artie would do the right thing, we might be right on track. I really agree. The goal for this year was to see the young guys perform. Some people were saying, 2025, if the young guys all perform, then it's a signing or two away from being a playoff team again. I say again, as if we have been anytime soon, or anytime lately. But I think that dream is probably gone just because we didn't even see Mike Trout play. We see Patrick Sandoval get hurt for the year and for probably all of next year. We see Detmer struggles. We see Silseth get hurt and struggle. We see Anthony Rendon have another useless season. We see Taylor Ward have a really bad year for the most part. And so I don't think the young guys have actually underperformed. You see this record and you go, oh, geez, clearly the young guys didn't end up being what Angels fans are hoping. No, I mean, yes, did O'Hoppe have a really bad recent stretch? Was Neto pretty poor at times? Was Nolan Schanuel really bad at the beginning? Have Joe Adell and Mickey Moniak both underwhelmed to some degree? Those are all true things, yes. But at the end of the day, if you look at some of their stats, saying these are guys that are really having their first ever full seasons, Zach Neto, a strong glove while hitting 255 with a 767 OPS. Certainly that's good enough to be encouraged that he can hit 270 with an 800 plus OPS next year. Absolutely, right? Like, why can't that be the case? Nolan Schanuel, he was really bad at the beginning of the year. If that average can get right around 250 and the OPS over 700, that's fine. Taylor Ward, the OPS is still over 700, right? Logan O'Hoppe, like we're saying, his OPS is still 712. I thought that there was points where he looked like he was going to be the best catcher in baseball in a couple of years, other than maybe an Adley Rutschman or something like that. So I think we're in between the two. We're in between this being a perfect year where the young guys showed everything and Trout had a good year and Rendon had a better year and Ward had a better year and the pitching was better. We didn't have that, but we didn't have disaster either. So all I think that means is maybe it's going to take one more year. And so am I going to be furious if we don't go out and sign Corbin Burns and it's maybe just like go get a relief pitcher here, maybe get one, decent starter so the whole rotation isn't 20 or Tyler Anderson? Yeah, I mean, if that's what it is, that's okay. It's not ideal, but it's better than doing nothing, and it's better than being delusional and just signing anybody. So I don't think Artie's going to go splurge. I don't think we were anywhere near good enough this year to encourage that. But I think if next year can kind of be a better version of what we expected this year, of maybe Trout actually plays. Rendon actually plays a little bit. Rengifo, I keep forgetting, actually plays a little bit. The young guys have another year to all have their averages go up by 10% or by 10 points. Then we're talking about, okay, next offseason, go get a couple and let's go make a run at the playoffs, a run at the division, right? Especially with how the AL West has looked this year. But with all that being said, we're going to wrap this one up. A shout out to all of you in here. Go watch the rest of the football game. I know that's what I'm about to do as well. It is nice being able to watch the Angels and something else. Today was a day where I was actually able to just focus on the Angels and actually be happy about it. Because normally it's like, oh God, we're down 5-0. Is there anything that I can look at every other pitch? But today, even though there was, I still actually got to zoom in on our baseball game and go, this team actually looks pretty good tonight. So with all that being said, go enjoy the rest of the football game. This has been the Locked On Angels Postcast. I'm Gavin Carlson. This is the place to hang out after every single Angels game. I appreciate all of you for being in here. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff as always. Be on the lookout for the usual postcasts going forward. Also, I will give my humble plug, my own YouTube channel. First video coming out on Sunday. We did a live stream earlier, but first YouTube channel for that coming out. It's going to be UCLA themed. I hope some of you, I know some of you in here are UCLA fans. But yes, we're in a new apartment. We're trying to get this background to be good. You guys can't see everything over here in my apartment. Let's just say the kitchen is covered in boxes of microwaves and toaster ovens and air fryers, and it's got a lot of work to do. The bedroom, there's a lot of trash bags everywhere, okay? So just know that in the background, I'm working hard. And then this specific background, the only thing you guys care about, it's going to look good in a couple days. I promise it. But with all that being said, I'm Gavin Carlson. Angels win 5-1. Sam Aldegheri, his first career MLB start, or not MLB start, his first career MLB win in his second career MLB start. Logan O'Hoppe, a 3-run home run as well as the Angels win 5-1 over the Rangers. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your Friday night. Have a great weekend. I'll see you back here for more Angels Postcasts after every single game. And as always, go Angels, everybody. Take care.